Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So we're coming to the very end of the Cassandra fusion, and we are participating in the bonus summon rush today. As per my fusion plan a couple weeks ago, my plan was to participate partially in the champion chase, which we did. We skipped the first summon rush, and we are participating in the bonus summon rush, which is only live for a couple of days here. Unfortunately, I was incorrect in my expectation or slash hope that there was going to be a Sacred POGO event, pull one, get one, alongside this, like there was one, like there happened to be one, I guess I should say, last year around the same time. But nonetheless, it's still, well, it doesn't really matter. We needed 25 fragments regardless, and so it was either that summon rush or this one, and so just because we have no choice at this point, we're participating in the bonus summon rush here. So crazily enough, I think this, historically speaking, is the highest milestone, the highest second milestone we've ever seen for a Epic Fragments, or just any part of fusion fragments in general. So 6250 for the upper milestone there is kind of crazy. So over 12 sacreds, or I guess 12 sacreds, you can get the rest of the mystery shards. But thankfully, we don't have to go that far. Per my plan, we only have to go out to the 3,000 points, i.e. 6 sacreds worth of points. So relatively affordable, and we get a lot of energy, which is kind of nice. Usually there's different rewards in the lower areas, but 700 energy, we'll take it. That's going to be useful in the near term. But yeah, 6 sacreds is the plan for today. Popping into the portal, let's take a look at the overall shard count. My account at the moment, we have 460 on the ancients, 204 on the voids, 38 on the primals, and then 59 on the sacreds, which of course we'll be dipping into today. In terms of the progressive chance events, arguably, I guess you could say that I could have been better off doing the normal summon rush, because it had some of the assassins up for grabs to the progressive chance events, and those were somewhat more enticing to me in the near term, just because they're exclusive to the collaboration between Assassin's Creed and Raid, and they'll be going away, or they'll not be included in the pool going forward once the collaboration ends. So if I could have gotten one of them early, that would have been more beneficial than who we selected in this case. But nonetheless, I would not complain if I were to get a Duchess Lilith, who I do not have in my account. I do have a Kymar, I do have a Fabian, of course, from his fusion. I don't have Preva or Amok, and I don't really care that much about either of them. I think Duchess would be the most useful for me in my particular situation. I'd still make use of her in Hydra, maybe just to swap out for Rector Drath. I think that's still a good exchange of capability and utility. But more importantly, for faction wars, I still depend on Dur the Hungerer for my demon spawn faction wars progression, and he can only get me so far as an epic without block debuffs and everything else. So, and Perfect Veil and all these other things. So Duchess would be a huge boon to my capabilities at this day and age. And in fact, in terms of my overall wish list when it comes to non-void legendaries, Duchess Lilith is number 4. So she's still in my top 5 of the most wanted non-void legendaries. Now, of course, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit talking about a potential legendary, because that is not a guarantee for today. And in fact, let's pop up the Mercy tracker on the screen. If you'd like a link to a copy of this in the description, it will be in the description box down below if you'd like a copy of this for yourself. But we are 8 sacreds in, so we're not yet in Mercy. However, if we do hit some relatively bad luck, we could enter Mercy here, at least 2 deep, and so we'll just see what happens. So there's no guarantee at all whatsoever that we're going to get a legendary today at all, but there is a decent chance that we'll enter Mercy, and then we'll be set up again, I guess, for a Sacred POGO if that happens to be somewhat in the near term. Last but not least, I wouldn't mind getting some duplicate epics for empowerment. However, at this point, I'm definitely getting to the point where a lot of the epics that I use are basically +4 at this point, so eventually won't really need that many more epics going forward, which will kind of be a sad day for a free-to-play such as yours truly. But anyways, I digress. Let's dive right into the pulls. We've got a little bit of space, we've got tons of cash, and hopefully get some pretty decent, let's just say once again, average luck, because honestly, setting myself up for a Sacred POGO wouldn't be the end of the world, and I haven't participated in a POGO for a couple of months now, so to speak. So Durandil, one of the hardest hitting Force Affinity epics in the game, really strong ability here, single target, ignores 50% defense. Obviously, you put him in Savage, that's 75%. With Helm Smasher proccing, it's 100% defense, potentially. So this can absolutely clap. And then this is a pretty decent ability, the AoE ability as well, 15% defense ignore there, with some turn meter fill. So super strong. I use him in like Curse City, Faction Wars type stuff. Restrictive content is where more he can come into play. Next epic is Endalia. Her only claim to fame is that she helps you get Lady Mikage, who I already have, so she is useless to me. That is a food champion. 2 sacreds down, 4 to go. We get a third epic, Ruella. Decent, comparatively speaking. Although I have ended up not really using her in any particular area aside from like Curse City, Fire Knight stages, because she has a triple hitter here and a triple hitter here, and then turn meter fill here. So super solid for multi-hitting type boss encounters, i.e. Fire Knight, in either iteration or either form, normal mode or hard mode. And then this triple hitter here is a really solid, reliable debuffing single target ability here, because when you book it, you have a 75% chance on each hit to place each of these debuffs on each hit. So it has like a 99.7% chance or something when you cumulatively add it all up to land all 3 debuffs. So it's really, really reliable, which is good. That's kind of her main claim to fame. Her base speed is also like 112 or something. She's one of the fastest epics in the game. Speaking of epics, holy moly, we got the big boy here, Siege Hulk. One of the epic debuffers in the game, AoE decreased defense, but he does give himself increased attack before attacking, so he's a decent nuker stroke debuff champion. Again, kind of more the faction wars restrictive content type of deal, just because he's not as survivable. He's ridiculously squishy. I think even when he's fully leveled, he has like 900 defense or something, so hard to keep alive, but he does put out a decent amount of damage. He can decrease turn meter if these conditions are met here, and then he can also place decreased speed here and buff himself a little bit. So a little bit selfish, but still decent champion overall. 2 more sacreds to go. I do think my Siege Hulk is fully empowered, so that might not be super helpful. Vildrax, a daily login reward champion, if I'm not mistaken. One of the earlier ones that you get, or one of the sooner ones you get after Visix, the Unbowed. But his claim to fame is that he has 100% chance to place AoE Hex, so he can be useful in certain hard mode spider compositions in terms of killing the spiderlings. Hex spreads a ridiculous amount of damage across all the minions, and so it can be easier to get kill that boss with that mode. And then on his A3, he can also increase the duration of all debuffs on the enemies, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown, which is not what you'd like to see, unfortunately. Last sacred for the day is going to be another epic, as expected. So maybe we're set up for a pogo in the future after all. Excruciator, if I could speak. Pretty bad epic, all things considered, but nonetheless, she does have one of her, I think it's this ability here, can technically place block revive if you kind of happen to get the kill, but single target, kind of like a Kutraxa, but without all the extra hits and whatnot. So not too amazing, unfortunately. But I do think that is all 6. So we should be exactly where we need to be in the Summon Rush. Yes, 3,000 and I guess 3. But yeah, that does formally, unofficially complete the fusion for me. Obviously, I still have to summon the last turtle and level him up and whatnot. So in my case, in terms of the fusion, we can double check there that I'm correct. Yeah, so we have the last Galapo. And so I'm going to be waiting until this weekend because there is going to be a champion chase at some point. I don't think it's going to show up yet in the tournaments tab, but there is going to be a champion chase this weekend, and so I'll get some points for fusing the last epic, 250 to be more specific. If there happens to be a champion training something or other associated with the upcoming Titan event, then I'll be working on that to level them up. But if there's not, then I'll just kind of brew that turtle to get him to the right level and ascend him and level him up and rank him up and whatnot, and just so I can get another 500 points during the champion chase this weekend for fusing Cassandra herself. You can see there we have the other 3 ready to go. And then in my case, on top of those, I do have my 40 extra prism crystals or fragments, whatever, from the last summon pool opportunity, plus the one that I'm still working on, the current Sand Devil Turn Attack tournament. So I will have 2 summons of the summon pool. So lots of air quotes free points, so to speak, for this weekend's champion chase, despite, as I recently announced today, that it will be 2x primal. So we'll probably be pulling some primal shards as well. How many is to be determined, depending upon how many points I get from everything else here, because you never know, we could get an assassin or something from two shots. But yeah, anyways, that is going to do it for today's shard pulling session. We got basically Bupkis, nothing there, just a bunch of epics. As expected, that was one of the possibilities that we highlighted there in the preamble. But yeah, not much to get excited about there, aside from the potential opportunity for a near-term Sacred Pogo, where we are now in Mercy, meaning that it's more enticing to go all in for a Sacred Pogo to get 2 legendaries for the price of 1. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plan was relative to the summon rushes. Which one was your focus for the purpose of the fusion, or were you just skipping the fusion in general, and therefore who cares what the summon rushes had to offer? As always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button down below to let us help out the channel, and feel free to hit the subscribe button down below as well, if and only if you're enjoying the content overall on this channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.